No cameras, no recordings. That is the directive by Chief Justice Gordon Ward as he handed down a decision aimed primarily at local media houses as they cover events at the magistrates and Supreme Courts in the Turks and Caicos Islands. The news has infuriated media houses such as PTV and TC Weekly News, who News 4 understands were busy all today in a meeting at the Weekly News office orchestrating a plan to take legal action against the decision. In a joint press release, the parties stated, "The local media of the Turks and Caicos Islands react with shock and dismay at a notice issued by the Chief Justice on March 22, 2010, which restricts and inhibits the press in the covering of cases as they appear before and are dealt with by the courts of the land. We regard this notice by the Chief Justice to be the most egregious onslaught against the freedom of the press in a civilized society in this 21st century. The freedom of speech and the freedom to assemble peacefully and to disseminate essential information to the public are important tenets of every democracy. As far as we know, these freedoms are still protected by our Constitution, except if these portions have also been secretly suspended." This alarming edict by the Chief Justice threatens to punish any reporter who ventures onto the court grounds to take photographs, make video recordings, or conduct interviews with anyone in connection with ongoing or completed matters before the courts. It doesn't stop there. It also restricts the photographing or videotaping of any such pictures or persons who are within the court precincts, even if the camera or similar apparatus is being operated from outside the court precincts. We are perplexed and troubled by this vicious and high-handed directive by the CJ and deeply worry where our country is headed in the hands of the British. For it is unthinkable that in this tenuous period of interim administration, a British judge would dare to show such blatant contempt for the Fourth Estate and complete disregard for the right of the people of this tiny British territory to be fully informed. We pray that His Lordship would reconsider the seriousness of this directive, and we call on all our media friends within the Turks and Caicos and the world at large to join us in our fight to resist this vile and wicked encroachment on the freedom of the press in this country. Signed, Turks and Caicos Weekly News and the People's Television. However, Editor-in-Chief of the Sun newspaper Hayden Boyce is not in agreement with the proposed legal action by the two media houses and said, in fact, he fully supports the Chief Justice's decision and blames the bad and irresponsible practices by some media houses in covering not only court but all news. Boyce said, quote, "I fully endorse the decision of the Chief Justice, Mr. Gordon Ward, and indeed I do not have an appetite for supporting the rather awkward and weak position that has been taken in this matter by the Weekly News and PTV because it doesn't make sense. There is hard and strong evidence that the proper journalism standards and ethics in the Turks and Caicos Islands are being severely compromised and sacrificed at the altar of sensationalism, and I'm therefore pleased that the Chief Justice has taken a decision that would hopefully compel certain journalists to pause and reflect on how they execute their duties, not only around the courts, but elsewhere. The awesome responsibility that is entrusted to journalists does not give us the authority to operate outside the boundaries of the law. Neither does it give us license to disrespect the fundamental rights of other individuals and institutions. There's a right way and a wrong way to cover court proceedings, and I truly believe that the Chief Justice is trying to point all journalists in the right direction and be fair to all concerned." The notice by the Chief Justice Ward read, "The public is advised that no one may take photographs or any film or video picture in the court precincts. This includes any type of photograph or film, whether taken by camera, mobile phone, or any other apparatus which records or stores any such images. Similarly, no interview should be carried out in the court precincts unless it is by a lawyer with his or her client or any other person involved in his or her professional legal work. This restriction also applies to the taking of any such pictures of persons who are within the court precincts, even if the camera or similar apparatus is being operated from outside the court precincts. Failure to observe this restriction may be a contempt of court. The court precincts include any part of the court buildings, veranda, car park, or any other part of the court grounds." News 4 investigations have revealed that the enforcement of these restrictions is because of a situation where one media house used cameras and showed key witnesses and jurors in a recent murder case, causing great concern to members of the families of the filmed individuals. It was in early February that PTV's DeAndre Hamilton was ordered by the Supreme Court to appear and explain use of a signed letter by Jermaine Reed, who was involved in a trial during a PTV newscast. For WIV4 News, I'm Amanda Miller.